Alright, this is a demo of our game, Back to Life. As we've said before, it's a top-down maze-based stealth game, very story-based fantasy. Let's go ahead and get into it. So we'll start with this first opening cutscene. So the main character of our game is Orpheus, a wizard who has lost his memories and lost his soul. He's currently weak, barely alive, almost zombie-like in nature. And the only thing, he doesn't remember who he is, he doesn't know where he is, the only thing he feels is this warmth pulling him towards it. And so, I'm not going to go through this whole cutscene, the whole cutscene, the dialogue, but he feels this warmth and he staggers, wanders through the wilderness, and gets to a village. The people are scared of him, but he knows that he has to go in. The guards are patrolling, but he knows he has to go in because that he feels something, he feels like the closest thing he has to warmth, the closest thing he can actually feel is somewhere in that village, and so he knows that he has to go further in. The only thing he can do at this point is shamble around, walk like a zombie, and so as he enters the village, he must dodge and weave and avoid the guards from even seeing him as best he can, because he can't fight back, he can't run, he can't move anything. All he can do is keep moving forward. So, got the impression that he was not welcome, did not want to test the waters, but doubtless the warmth he lay further within. There was no turning back. He didn't know who or what he was, but the closest thing he had to answers lay ahead. Now we get into our gameplay. I'm going to let Chad take over, our team lead, while I play through the level.
So basically, most of the game is a top-down look at your different levels. So at each level, you have enemies that are walking around. So you see an enemy like that. And basically, enemies are on a certain path right now. Right now, they're coded so that they all have different paths. You can't see the whole map. It's kind of like a maze a little bit. If you touch an enemy or if an enemy finds you, you have to start the level over again. And then after each level, there's a cutscene. You learn more about who you are. And if you touch an enemy, the whole level starts back. So you can see right now we have it where every single enemy has. You can see that right now that's like their cone of vision that you see on them. It's a little rudimentary right now, but it works. Where basically, if you get within a certain amount of distance, then they are suspicious. So that's our sus state. And if you get even closer, that's their aggro state because they're aggressive. And so in further updates, we'll be making sure the enemies will chase you for a certain amount of time, have more animations, that kind of thing. And as you can see, we have the whole village, the whole level 1 is populated with assets and things like that. And then once you get to the end of the level, we haven't finished this yet, but you can see Frank finds it once he finds the maze.
Try my best.
Basically, once you get to the end and you find the soul fragment, you learn more about who you are, you learn more about the stories, and then each of those cutscenes, those are hand-drawn by Lee, and so we have our whole story fleshed out and everything like that. And then at the end, the idea is that you fight a main boss at the end of each level, and then after each level, you get a new ability. So after the first level, you get the ability to sprint. After the second level, you get the ability to push objects or to interact with objects. And then the third level, you're able to actually go behind enemies and take them down stealthily. And then at the very end of the game, you have kind of like a final choice of what you want to do, kind of a little redemptive arc. You can hear our royalty-free music in the background. And then, we get more cutscenes, and you learn more about himself.
And then I'm going to skip through this cutscene because we don't all have time for that. But so on the way, after you collect that piece of your soul, regain it and gain a new ability. We don't have the ability implemented just yet. But you go on your way out of the level, like you said, with you're being chased by the boss of the level. The level difficulty ramps up a bit. So now you have certain paths that were closed before now open up, and certain paths that were open before now closed, and so now you have to traverse through the level in a different way, but you're avoiding the same enemies while also now on more of a time crunch, because as you have the main boss of the level chasing you, you don't have time to dilly-dally and dodge and wait for enemies to move out of the way.